Good Friday morning, everyone. Don't I look summery? Don't answer. Constance got me a new hat yesterday I'm not sure where she got it, but it's a new hat, and it's uh, very comfortable. I wore it on my walk this morning. Uh, well, it has turned warm, literally overnight. It's turned warm in Sacramento. And I'm going to have a little sip of coffee here. And it just turns from almost freezing, the 40s at night. And now today it's supposed to get up to 93. So I'm looking like this and happy to. Anyway, excuse me. I'm going to continue the can of worms we opened yesterday with that lunar language stuff. And if you haven't heard yesterday's thing on YouTube or on my page here in Facebook, you might want to cruise that and hear the lunar language and the context of where it first appeared. And that was in Crowley's Vision and the Voice, the series of visions that he had walking across the North African Sahara with Victor Newberg, doing an Enochian Aether, scrying an Enochian Aether from 30 to number 1. And each aether is progressively a higher level of consciousness and more difficult to penetrate. Sort of a climb up the tree of life method, only on steroids. Okay. And so I read from the second to the highest aether, Arn, A-R-N. And Crowley is using these series of visions as an initiatory, a personal initiatory experience. And we shouldn't fall into the trap of thinking that Crowley's visions, we must see those same things that Crowley saw, because you were you and Crowley was Crowley. We have our own vocabulary of images and things that make sense to us. So, but it helps us understand in sort of a universal way the nature of cosmic intelligence at those different levels. And these are how they revealed themselves to Crowley. And Crowley's vocabulary of images was built very early in his life with the imagery of the Christian apocalypse and the Judeo-Christian cast of characters from the Bible. And if you haven't been traumatized by the same things that Crowley was traumatized by your visions would be populated by characters from your pantheon of spiritual traumas. Anyways, so this is really high up, and Crowley's having a hard time getting into the aether. And if you've ever even experimented on a casual way with Enochian vision magic, I mean, it's the method is just simplicity itself. You just put yourself in a slightly altered state of consciousness by reciting the specific call in the angelic language. And it sets up sort of a spiritual atmosphere in your immediate environment that if you get good at relaxing and putting yourself in a place where you can get in to that particular vibration or vibratory reality, you have visions that are meaningful for you, not necessarily meaningful for anybody else, but it's what you get when you go there. And ultimately, the idea is you don't just end up going there. You understand it enough to go there and then be there and then do your operation from that next stepping stone of consciousness. Literally, you take it all with you. And but it's comforting to know that Crowley, the big magician, with Victor Newberg traipsing across the Sahara Desert every day, doing a different aether and bowing down 1,001 times every day to chant the Hulkua Allahu Ahad mantra to get into that state of consciousness. So it's really comfortable to know that Crowley was at the time in the process of breaking through to that level of consciousness associated with these higher aethers. And when you do the aethers yourself, most people find it very easy to get a vision in the early aethers, because we're drifting in and out of those aethers all the time. But the higher we go, the more difficult it is. Constance is hurrying me here, so.
I'm not hurrying you.
Okay.
At all.
The more difficult it is as you reach the plateau of your personal level of initiation. The next aether that represents the next step for you is harder to get into. And here we are at the second to the highest aether here, Arn. And we have Crowley having difficulty getting into it. He has to try it several times. And the second time was associated with where the moon was. And that's what we talked about yesterday with Mupatalai, lunar language things. But that's not where it ended. It ended even more dramatically. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But just breaking through the hymen of Arn yesterday, this was Crowley's vision. In the first place, there is again the woman riding on a bull. Okay. Which is a reflection of Babylon that rideth on the beast. So now we're getting the idea that Crowley is seeing a comparable level of consciousness associated with Across the Abyss in number 3, where Babylon is.
I just pulled it out of my ear this morning when you came home.
Yeah?
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear your class yesterday. I made that up this morning. It was that card.
Oh, my God.
Don't you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, I thought you were eavesdropping yesterday.
No, I was probably doing laundry.
The laundry, the washing machine was going. I heard it.
That probably told me the truth.
There's also an Assyrian legend of a woman with a fish, and also the legend of Eve and the serpent, for Cain was the child of Eve and the serpent, and not Eve and Adam. And therefore he had slain his brother, who was the first murderer, having sacrificed living things to his demon. Cain had the mark upon his brow, which is the mark of the beast spoken of in the Apocalypse, and is the sign of initiation. The shedding of blood is necessary for, he's talking about in the context of the formula of that legend. For God did not hear the children of Eve until blood was shed, and that is external religion. But Cain spake not with God, nor had the mark of initiation on his brow, so that he was shunned by all men until he had shed blood. See, Abel was the animal slaughterer, and well, anyway.
And their their superficial religion liked the animal slaughter.
Yeah.
That's as close as they could think about giving up themselves unto Babylon was killing something else.
So don't jump to conclusions here. Don't jump to the evangelical conclusions. As this was the blood of his brother. This is the mystery of the sixth key of the tarot, which ought not be called the lovers, but the brothers. And there's Cain with the club and Abel with cabbages. Okay.
In other words, there's only one son of God and everybody's dead.
Yeah. In the middle of the key.
Right?
Exactly.
All right, that's what I thought.
In the middle of the card stands Cain. In his right hand is the hammer of Thor, with which he's slain his brother, and is all wet with his blood. Okay, it goes on and on and on. That's how this Aether opened to Crowley. It got him thinking about this stuff. Is this the Aether, though? Okay. Then he goes on a little later here. I cannot get any idea of the source of what I have been saying. All I can say is that there's a sort of dew, like a mist upon the stone. That's the scrying stone. And yet has become hot to the touch. All I get is that the apocalypse was a recension of a dozen or so totally disconnected allegories that were pieced together and ruthlessly planed down to make them into a connected account. And that recession was rewritten and edited in the interests of Christianity, because the people were complaining that Christianity could show no true spiritual knowledge.
In other words, there was nothing channeled.
Yeah.
Everybody made something up, obviously.
Let's try this one on for size. Okay.
Although it wasn't channeled either. All the parts of it were. They edited it into
okay.
something.
So he sort of said, well, yeah, I'm having trouble penetrating this Aether. So the next night, or the next day, in the morning, 9:20 a.m., and this is December 18th, 1909, by the way. It's not a question of being unable to get into the Aether and trying to struggle through, but one is not anywhere near it. A voice comes. When thy dust shall strew the earth whereon she walketh, then mayest thou bear the impress of her foot. I wish I could just think in those poetic terms. And thinkest thou to behold her face? The stone has become of the most brilliant whiteness, and yet that whiteness and all the other colors are implicit. And this is the mystery of the incest of chaos with his daughter. And he goes on about Babylon. Okay. Now, Babylon adds up to 156. Okay. It's a big, big number. And it's Kabbalistically, it's a big number too, and including Hiram Abiff in his own way is a 156, or Hiram. But 156 is 3 by 52 and 6 by 26 and 12 by 13. It's all of these different, this multiplied by this is 156. And each of those component factors leading to the sum, or whatever it is, are facets of Babylon. Okay, it's like when Krishna showed all of himself. Okay, it's all Krishna, but here's all these different facets of it. And I asked the angel if there is any by which I can make myself worthy to behold the mysteries of this aether. And he saith, it is not in my knowledge, yet do thou make once more in silence the call of the aether, and wait patiently upon the favor of the angel. For he is a mighty angel, and never yet have I heard the whisper of his wings. So this isn't even the angel of the aether. This is like the guy hanging out at the outskirts of it. Okay, this is the doorman of the aether. But he gives him the true translation of the call. Okay, in Enochian it'd be Madrias dies prof arn, kismi kaus enir kaus god fifis falsis rasiada. And it's been translated by D.N. Kelly. Okay. O ye heavens which dwell in the second aether, yada, 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 yada. And the translation is everywhere. But this is the true translation, or at least the true translation for Crowley. And Crowley makes comments within it to even make more sense. O ye heavens which dwell in the first air, well, in this case, the second, and are mighty in the parts of the earth, and execute therein the judgment of the highest. To you it is said, behold the face of your God, the beginning of comfort, whose eyes are the brightness of the heavens, which provided you for the government of the earth, and her unspeakable variety, furnishing you with a power of understanding, that ye might dispose all things according to the foresight of him that sitteth on the holy throne. And rose up in the beginning, saying, the earth, let her be governed by her parts. And he comments, this is the prostitution of Babylon to Pan. The earth, let her be governed by her parts, and let there be division in her. Crowley, the formation of the many from the one. That her glory may always be ecstasy and irritation of orgasm. Her course, let it round with the heavens. Oh, that ecstasy of orgasm was translated by D.N. Kelly. It regretteth me that I have made man. Okay. That is, let her be always harmonious with heaven, and as a handmaid, let her serve them. That is, the Virgin of eternity climbing into the bed of chaos. Chaos being number 2 on the tree of life, and the Virgin of Eternity being number 10 on the tree of life, you and me. It is, you got father, mother, son, daughter. Daughter, son, mother, father, daughter. On a cosmic scale, that is not even a misdemeanor. One season let it confound another. That is, let there be an unwearying variety of predicates. And let there be no creature upon or within her the same. That is, let there be an unwearying variety of subjects. Let all her members, let them differ in their qualities, and let there be no one creature equal to another. Crowley. For if there were any duplication or omission, there would be no perfection of the whole. The reasonable creatures of the earth and men, let them vex and weed out one another. This is the destruction of reason, or the ruach, by internecine conflicts in the course of redemption. And their dwelling places, let them forget their names. This is the arising of Nemo. That's the name, the title of the master of the temple. Okay, it goes on, but it's a wonderful updated translation of what for Enochian magicians.
Isn't that a bit like? Okay, isn't that a bit like? Okay, the Father is number one, the source of everything, the actual force, the source.
Yeah.
And so Babylon comes and joins that. And she is the real creator because she divides everything up infinitely.
And receives them all back.
Right. She divides it up infinitely. But they have no from the and their only purpose is to figure out how to to divide themselves so much that they end up being so diluted that they end up being the one come right back to the source again.
Right.
But meanwhile they get all the experience of being divided infinitely.
Yeah.
So she's the real. That's why the mother goddess. They say, why did somebody say that the father goddess is father is the creator, and she and the mother. Some religions say the mother is the creator. Well,
technically
it is both, but he's the actual fuel or the source or whatever. But he doesn't. He's so above it all. He can't. He couldn't possibly. He couldn't possibly divide into infinitely because he doesn't know how.
Yeah.
It doesn't even cross his mind how to be creative. He just extends himself, and she does the creating with that force, right?
Right.
He extends himself into Babylon, and Babylon does the creating, and then it has to come back to him. Once it gets so diluted.
That's why she tiptoes with the blood of the saints. She tiptoes across that path of Daleth to number 2, where the father is laid slumbering after exhausting himself.
Except that that's a nice metaphor, but he's never exhausted.
No.
And neither is she. It's
just like I'm never exhausted. But I take a nap now and then.
Shiva closes.
Okay.
Shiva opens and closes his eye. What?
Crowley can't get himself into this aether, so he tries a magic trick. There is a mantra that is based on something that the Stele of Revealing suggested. And the mantra, when translated into English, is unity, uttermost showed, I adore the might of thy breath, supreme and terrible God, who makest the gods and death to tremble before thee. I adore thee. Okay. And that in chicken Egyptian is Akaduha Tufurbiu Biachafu Dudu Nera Fanuderu. He starts to use that to break his head against the membrane of the aether to get in. Let's see. Shut out the sight. Holy, holy, holy art thou. Light, life, love, and love are like the three glowworms at thy feet. The whole universe of stars, the dewdrops on the grass whereon thou walkest. I am quite blind. Thou art Nuit. Strain, strain, strain my whole soul, Akadua, Tafurbiu. And then he ends up repeating the word falutely, falutely. I cling unto the burning aether like Lucifer that fell through the abyss, and by the fury of his light kindled the air. Okay. He goes on with things like that, using the imagery of the four great princes, the four great devils, if you will. Yea, let me take the form of Hadit before thee and sing Akaduha Tofurbiu Biachafu Dudu Nera Fanutaru. And he's singing it as Hadit. Nuit, Nuit, how art thou manifested in this place? This is a mystery ineffable, and it is mine, and I can never reveal it either to God or to man, for it is thee and me. Aha, aha, akadua tefurbiu biachafu dudu nera fanuteru. My spirit is not more, my soul is no more, my life leaps into annihilation. Akadua tefurbiu biachafu dudu nera fanuteru. It is the cry of my body. Save me. I've come too close. I've come too close to that which may not be endured. It must awake. The body, it must assert itself. It must shut out the aether, or else it is dead. Every pulse aches and beats furiously. Every nerve stings like a serpent, and my skin is icy cold. Neither God nor man can penetrate the mystery of the aether. Here the seer mutters unintelligibly. And even that which understandeth it cannot hear its voice. For to the profane the voice of the neophyte is called silence, and to the neophyte the voice of the zealoter is called silence. And ever is it so. He tries it once again. And it says the aether must be left unfinished until the half moon. And that's where we took it yesterday with that lunar language. And here's where we're continuing right now. And that which thou hearest is but the dropping of the dew from my limbs. For I dance in the night naked upon the grass, in shadowy places by running streams. Many are they who love the nymphs of the woods, and of the wells, and of the fountains, and of the hills. And of these, Some were nympholept, for it was not a nymph, but I myself that walked upon the earth, taking my pleasure. And also there were many images of Pan, and men adored them. And as a beautiful God, he made their olives bear double and their vines increase. But some were slain by the god, for it was I that had woven the garlands about him. Now cometh a song. So sweet is this song that no one could resist it. For in it all the passionate ache of moonlight, and the great hunger of the sea, and the terror of desolate places, all things that lure men to the unattainable. O Marie Tessala, Marax Tessala Dodifornipax, Amri Redara Poleax, Armana Piliu Amri Radara Piliuson, Mari Narya Barbiton, Madara Anifax Sarpedon, Andala Friliu, which is translated, if you'd be so kind. You have it by memory?
Let's hope. Only for decades, but I am the harlot that shaketh death. This shaking giveth the peace of satiate lust. Immortality jetteth from my skull, and music from my vulva. Immortality jetteth also from my vulva. For my whoredom is a sweet scent, like a seven-stringed instrument played unto God the invisible, the all-ruler, that goeth along giving the shrill scream of orgasm. Really? Did I do it okay?
Yes, you did it perfectly.
It's one of those things that I can do in my sleep,
Yeah.
which is quite obvious.
Now you were telling me something about the shrill cry of orgasm or something.
I was talking to you about that. I thought that passage had to do with the lust card and the justice and fool card.
And here they are.
Because justice is the lust card, which is the fulfillment of the complete sexual will. Wait, go back there. The lust card, which is the fulfillment of the complete sexual will, which is more than physical orgasm, because let's face it, two bodies can never unite. No matter how hard you try.
Yeah.
It's about the mind and the spirit that unites. And that's anyway. So it's about that, which is complete satisfaction of the spiritual will. Okay, you can go down there. And then I thought it was the justice card. Oh, that's enough. I don't particularly like that one. I don't like the way it looks. The justice card, because true justice is not compromise.
Yeah.
Which is not where everybody loses. It's where everybody wins, and everybody thinks that's impossible, but that's the only reason it's impossible is because everybody thinks it's impossible. True justice is where everybody wins. And so that is complete satisfaction of really you. And of course her satisfaction is the fool, which is pretty.
And their boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's right.
He's at a 0, which is out of the sequence.
Together they are complete satisfaction.
And together they're complete satisfaction.
Just like Babylon and Pan together are the complete satisfaction.
Yeah. A-L, God. L-A, not. And
all
it,
right there in front of us. If we just let
a child
if
could
we
see.
just let our minds wander, like minds always wander.
So,
I have too much physical.
What you
work to
doing
do.
in there? Wandering your?
I'm just fixing oatmeal while I'm thinking about. I really was. Okay.
Okay. Well, that.
Oh, I have a blessing because you're through.
Yes, I'm through. Please bless.
Well, I thought that I because you know how I am. I'm clergy. I just wrote an impromptu blessing for today after this. After this, the subject matter
Okay.
of this class. You probably can't hear me anyway, so this is probably all just wasted anyway. I'm way up here.
No,
On this
you're way up there.
Exercise bike, and Lon didn't turn anything around. The blessing for it is today until we reach enlightenment and being in complete harmony with the universal purpose. May we be granted the accomplishment of our will without obstacles or even effort. May we feel the certainty of perfect satisfaction. Really you.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that took me 5 minutes.
I told her it'd only be 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
That's why I started to fall asleep.
Okay. Well, that's it for today. There's Saturday morning cartoons tomorrow, which I've been practicing eating fire, and I'm going to give a fire.
Why are you saying that? Did you get a new Tabasco sauce?
I just want them to tune in tomorrow. That's it. Yeah, I'll do a fire eating thing to go with my sword swallowing. Okay. I've made Constance speechless.
No, not really. I can't remember. I found a note from.
Speak up, please.
Who did the fire eating? What were their names?
Was it Catlin?
Okay, never mind.
At class, they did.
Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Gracie. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie. We'll see you tomorrow. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Love is the law, love under will.